Life. My name is David Gorski, and this is my returning RA application for 2025-2026 academic year. All right, so here's a little bit about myself. I am currently a junior here at UConn. I currently work in Charter Oak Apartments. I am majoring in nursing and on the pre-serenade track. Um, I also love to travel. I spent 2 weeks this past summer in both Spain and Portugal. And as a junior in the School of Nursing, I have begun my clinical rotations and immersions at off-site hospitals. So, why am I interested in returning to the RA role? I am interested in replying to the RA position because I believe that the role has allowed me to become more involved on campus than when I was as a freshman. I've really enjoyed this role because it has allowed me to look forward to something that isn't just classes. It has also allowed me to make a bunch of new connections compared to my freshman year, both from my residents and the amazing staff that I work with. I realized that I haven't really adjusted to living on campus since my freshman year, since I would always go home every weekend during that time, and I knew that was something that I would have to change when I decided to become an RA. I am very thankful to have had my staff with me throughout this past semester. They've been my second family outside of home, and I've never felt more welcome and accepted without them. So hopefully those same feelings that I felt for my current staff will persist to whatever staff I would be working with next year. All right, so how would I be an influence to new RAs, the SRA, and how would I welcome those new members into the team and be a role model to them and residents, etc. So, as a returner to the store's Res Life staff, I'd hope to share, particularly with the new RAs on my staff team, how to properly write and document an incident report. I remember my first year of training when we were introduced to Maxian and the documenting process. It seemed very intimidating and stressful since there are so many components that are required, including the way the incident report must be described and how it must be written. My first two IRs that I wrote my first semester as an RA were both um, by the help of my co-RA in my building who had more experience drafting them, and they helped me to point out what I needed to change and what details I missed. And I understand that writing IRs can seem like a daunting process for new RAs, and I hope that through experience and after perfecting my documenting skills, I can provide the same advice that my co-RA last year provided for me. Also, as a nursing student, like I said, I have begun my clinical experiences in different hospital settings. I hope that what I will learn from working with patients can be transduced into how I should approach my residents, since I have a duty to promote the safety of of my residents, as I will for future patients when I become a nurse. So I hope that what I take away from interacting from a wide range of patients can be applied to approaching different residents. Um, and I would love to share those techniques with my staff as well, so that not only will my area feel more comfortable, but all of their residents will as well. I made an impact on a resident. Um, my first year as an RA, I was assigned to a resident that had multiple care referrals written about them in the past, and was told to keep an eye on them by my former hall director. In regards to using the RLM, I utilized Husky Chats for all of my residents as regular check-ins throughout the year, just so that I could gauge how they were doing mentally and academically. The resident of concern wrote very questionable response to me through Husky Chats, to where I decided that I should go meet with the resident in person in their apartment. I met up with them during fire health and safety and looked in their room, which seemed very unkempt and dirty upon inspection. The resident chose to open up to me more about what they were going through mentally, as they began to trust me more and claimed that they never had an RA care about them this much. I referred them to Student Health and Wellness and went with them on a walk to the building, which they believed really benefited them. I also learned how to knit scarves with them and offered some techniques to them about how I relax after a stressful week, such as watching my favorite movies, talking to my friends, to which I also invited them to one of my social events where they got to make more friends by talking to other Powder Oak residents. I'll continue to impact and help students in the future by continuing to check up on them through periodic Husky chats, assessing their mental status, and following up when necessary and trying to see if there's anything that I can play a role in making them feel more comfortable and appreciated as their RA. The protocol wasn't spelled out. My first year as an RA, I had a resident with a drummer's kit live above me. Me and my roommate paid no mind to it originally until their playing became an issue and the noise became audible throughout the entire apartment. I first originally sent an email for to the resident to stop playing entirely since it was violating quiet hours and disturbing their surrounding neighbors. However, the resident replied to me saying that they play drums for a living and that their apartment is the only place where they can practice their instruments and make recordings. As much as I wanted the resident to quit playing, I didn't want to disrupt their livelihood and finances. So I knew a conversation between us and the hall director was necessary, where I explained my concerns about the noise and so did the resident about their financial situation. In turn, we decided that both of us need to come to a compromise about when and how the music can be played. We both exchanged schedules and agreed that the resident was able to play on the drums while I was outside of the apartment during classes, and that the resident wouldn't play them upon my return or during quiet hours. This resulted in a compromise between the two of us since we were able to find a gap in each other's time, and the two of us got along pretty well after that actually since we spoke occasionally and we would met up, check up on each other, and discuss what was happening in our lives. So, yeah, I thought that was a good example to share, as even though noise levels were intolerable to me and quiet hours were being violated, they had a genuine reason as to why that was. All right, that is it for my application. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.